We've just been for ramen at Kyushu Jangara in Ginza. They serve tonkotsu ramen of several types, and they also have a vegan or vegetarian option as well, which is pretty unusual because most ramen contains meat or fish stock, so I can't have it. It was kind of difficult to film too much inside here. It's quite a small restaurant and there was a queue of people outside waiting to get in, so it was the sort of place where you eat and leave. But we're going to tell you all about it. There's more ideas for places where vegetarians or vegans and meat eaters can eat together on my channel. They're all together in a playlist. And there's new Japan videos every Thursday if you want to subscribe. Not everywhere in Tokyo has vegetarian options, so I've made a list of restaurants that do. It's on my website, I'll put the link in the description. I've spent literally hours researching this for my own trips, so I hope you find it helpful. We've just been for ramen at Kyushu Jangara in Ginza. It was really good. Did you enjoy it as well, Phil?
I did. It was well made, and you could have an extra creamy tonkotsu, which I think would have had a bit more flavour. But the one I had was, I suppose, quite mild, but it was really nice. It wasn't overpowering. It was really pleasant just to sit and eat.
The vegan ramen was soy sauce based, and it wasn't like a really healthy sort of one. You could see it had oil on the top and things. Not that it tasted oily or anything, but it just wasn't a really light, healthy version. It felt like normal ramen, which is a good thing, I think.
Yeah, because that is really hard to find, isn't it?
Yeah, and out of the vegetarian ramens I've had here in Japan, that is the closest to normal ramen, as far as I can tell, anyway.
You did have one in the Ramen Museum in Yokohama. That was relatively close to tonkotsu. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, it was quite a creamy thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But this one, I didn't try yours because you ate it all. But it did look more like a soy sauce ramen.
It tasted really savoury and full of flavour, and it had some sort of fake meat on the top. I'm not sure what sort it was, as the chashu substitute.
So one thing about this place is it's quite small. There were maybe 10 seats in there? Maybe
yeah, a couple of different tables, but not that many seats.
And because of that there's a queue. I spotted at least 2 other people in the queue who were specifically there just because it offered vegan options. So I think a lot of people do come here just for that reason.
Because there aren't many places that serve meat and vegan options.
So if you do want to come here, it is quite busy. We turned up at about 8 o'clock. And there was a queue, not many people, maybe 10 in front of us. Only took 20 minutes or so to get in, and then you are kind of rushed out of there, which is pretty normal. You
sort of feel the pressure of all the people waiting outside who are still there. So like a lot of these small restaurants in Japan, you have to eat and then go and not hang around for ages like you might normally.
Yeah, it's not a place you go in and talk. There are a few exceptions, but most restaurants you sort of have your meal, finish your drink, and then you're out pretty quickly so the next people can come in, because so many of them are really small. But inside it was nice, not amazingly decorated, but it had its charm. The staff were really good. If you don't speak Japanese, don't worry, because they mostly spoke English.
They were really good at English, yeah.
They had English menu. They had menus in I think Korean and Chinese as well.
Yeah, they're well prepared for tourists. Yeah. It was a cosy sort of place. It felt sort of authentic and had kind of quirky decoration in there.
Really small chairs though.
Yeah. Low tables and small chairs.
But it was
maybe it was to fit more in.
Not uncomfortably, like you weren't on a child's seat, but it was quite small. But then I'm quite small, so maybe some people would say it's a child's seat.
So on the menu they had normal tonkotsu, they had creamy tonkotsu, a miso based ramen, and there was a spicy ramen.
Yeah, the spicy one was, I think it was a variant of the creamy stuff, so you just basically got extra.
They probably use the same broth and then add different things to it. Oh, there was an extra garlic one as well, and then each of them you could choose what toppings you wanted with them. There were different options for each one.
Fairly customizable. The toppings, you could have extra pork, you'd have spicy salmon roe, a boiled egg, or a soft boiled egg. I think that might have been about it, but that's enough to basically pick what you want.
On the table they had a pretty good selection of condiments. They had some pickles, pickled ginger, and there was a really spicy pickle as well. I'm not sure what it was green.
They called it green hot peppers or something. So I'm not sure what it was either. I thought there was some kombu or seaweed or something in there, but it was definitely chilies or peppers for the most of it.
It was pretty spicy.
It was.
They had some flavoured oil, shichimi, chili powder. They had ground up sesames, which I love because sesames are my favourite.
They bought me some spiced pork to go with the beer, which they said was beer service. Now, he said that's normal in Japan, but I don't think I've ever had that. Like, of all the places we've been and all the beers I've ordered, I'm surprised that I've never had that if it's not normal.
Not at a restaurant, but at a bar, if you pay a cover charge, you'd normally get something as a service.
You would do, yeah. But here with spice pork, and it wasn't like, you know, just cheap stuff just to keep you happy. It tasted really good. I was really surprised.
Bonus.
Yeah. It was relatively cheap. So the ramen I had, if you just went for the basic dish, was only about 680 yen, I think. But then they suggest a load of options where you have an egg with it, or you have some extra pork. So I went with one which cost, I think, 900 yen. And the bowls weren't the biggest bowls of ramen I've seen, but they were definitely, I'm full.
Yeah, I'm full up now as well.
How much did it cost?
The bill was 2,700 yen, about that.
Yeah, 2,700.
Which I think is just less than £20.
So,
and that was for the 2 ramens. I had a ramen and Phil had a beer.
And this branch is actually in Ginza, and Ginza is well known for being a pretty expensive place. Like, if you go around the corner from where we are now, you've got like Chanel, and you've got Cartier and Prada, and, you know, big brands. So I'd have thought anything here would be quite expensive.
Yeah.
But this is very cheap.
Yeah, this is in a back street, but it seems strange that it's so close to all those shops like that.
Yeah, the rent here can't be cheap, but they get a lot of customers, so I guess it works out.
They've got some other branches too in other areas of Tokyo. There's definitely one in Harajuku, and there's a couple of other branches as well.
Yep.
It doesn't feel like a chain, but there are several other stores in Tokyo, in Akihabara, Harajuku, Akasaka, Nihombashi, Ikebukuro, and there's one in the intriguingly named Tokyo Ramen Tower near Hamamutsucho station that has a different menu. That one's got vegan sesame ramen, which is definitely on my list for next time. All the details are on kyushujangara.jp.
If your first time here and you're wondering what ramen to get, go somewhere like that rather than Ichiran, because it's just a bit more authentic. Like, there's nothing wrong with the Ichiran stuff, but it's obviously, like, it's a big chain. This place, yeah, you're a bit rushed, but you go in and you get good service and good food. That's really what you want.
Yeah, they're the places I enjoy going the most, that seem a bit more authentic rather than sort of shiny modern places. It feels more like you're somewhere real.
Yeah, and it's worth queuing. We're normally put off by a queue, but it generally means it's good.
Yeah, I think it's normal in Japan. People seem to like queuing up for things.
We're British.
We love queues.
Yeah.
I'm becoming an expert on places in Japan that have a vegetarian ramen option, and there's a few others on my channel as well, so I'll put the links in the description to them.
And you have a list on your website of not just ramen but vegetarian places.
Yeah, not just vegetarian restaurants but normal restaurants that have a vegetarian option, so if like us you're a meat eater travelling with a vegetarian, you can both eat happily, which is actually pretty hard to find in Tokyo, so I'll put the link to that in the description as well.
It's quite difficult for us because I love fish, and you know, I'm quite happy to not have meat or fish for a dish or something, but when you're in Japan you kind of want to try it all out, and it's quite hard to find Japanese places, so finding one that serves both is kind of the holy grail, because you'll get authentic food that we can both eat, and that's great.
Go have some great ramen. And I'm sorry I didn't film more inside, but it was so small I couldn't really do it without filming everybody else in there.
Yeah, it was small, and we knew we were in a hurry because there was a big queue outside.
And there's new Japan videos every Thursday if you want to see what else we've been going up to here, as well as eating ramen. See you soon. Bye bye.